meeting is being recorded, so that if there's any questions about the meeting later, that the video will be available on the environmental health website and public enforcement website also.
Good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por acompañarnos. Thank you for being here. Esta junta es la comunidad de vendedor ambulante. This is the Street and Sidewalk Vending meeting. Just a few housekeeping tips. There are trash cans around the room. If you'd like to grab snacks and water, and restrooms are down the hall to the left. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the QR code. Si tienen alguna pregunta, por favor usen el código QR para someter ahí sus preguntas, o también pueden escribirlas en un papel. Y los inspectores que están alrededor del cuarto pueden responder sus preguntas. Tenemos a Jonathan acá, tenemos a más caminando. Pueden alzar su papelito en el aire y ahí pueden hacer preguntas. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them down and somebody will come around and pick them up. Los baños están al final y a la izquierda. Y con eso les entrego a la presentadora, Laila. After that, I will introduce Laila and take over the rest of the meeting.
Thank you, Adelie. So thank you for coming. To start off, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Laila Kelsey. I am a supervisor with Environmental Health Services that I have been helping with the street vending program for many years now. So if you have any questions, that I will be part of the team. I will be helping to answer them at the end of the presentation. This is my contact information. My email is right here. And if you would like to email me, I am available. If you can email, and I will respond back. Goals today that we will be talking about Senate Bill 946 and 972. We will be talking about street vending permit options, and then we'll also be talking about options beyond street vending. These are some of our topics for today in a little bit more detail. Like we mentioned, the bill 946, 972, the role of environmental health services in county code enforcement, food facilities and permit options, mobile food facilities, also known as compact mobile food operations, permitted and non-permitted examples if you have some pictures available, and then other options beyond street vending. To start, we are going to talk about 946 and 972. In the packet that you see that there is a handout, looks similar to this, SB 972 and compact mobile food operations. If you would like to refer to that while I discuss it, please feel free. So 946 in 2019, that is what defines sidewalk vending. It decriminalized the act of sidewalk vending. Now the bill did still say that a health permit is still required. That was part of that bill, but otherwise it did decriminalize sidewalk vending. A sidewalk vendor is defined as a vendor who sells food from an individual or from a push cart, stand, display, pedal-driven cart, or any other non-motorized conveyance. So these are items that are either standing still or that are pushable. It does not include any of the big trucks. Sidewalk vendors still do need to meet health and safety code, which does include a health permit, proper approval from the city or the county where they are operating, and to obtain a valid health permit for that specific type of operation from Environmental Health Services. As I mentioned, you can refer to this flyer for more information, and this is the top page of your packet. So 972, what it did do, that 972 is new to 2023. What it did is that we find carts like push carts or hot dog carts or fruit carts possibly as compact mobile food operations. This did change the health and safety code for the state of California. What it did is that with 946 that defined the sidewalk vendor, basically it now says that a compact mobile food operation is the sidewalk vendor. And it still must be a non-motorized transport, non-motorized part. Plan check is required for any open food operation, but it didn't relax some structural and operational requirements, such as there is no requirement for hot water on the parks anymore, which it used to be in 2022 and previous to the 2023 change. Again, there still must be proper requirement check and approval from the city and the county. 972 does not just open it up for any type of operation to serve food. There are still requirements and health permits are still required. I know that there has been a misunderstanding, especially with media outlets, talking about 972, that there are still requirements involved in serving and selling food or drink. So the role of environmental health services, EHS, that we protect public health by inspecting all permitted food facilities to ensure safe food practices and reduce the potential for foodborne illness. Easy to say, our number one job is to protect public health. That is what we are here to do, that we are all here protecting you and your families. We do act as a resource to the public, operators, and other agencies. And we provide information, like we are today, to non-permitted vendors, operators, and how to become a permitted operator. We want to see everybody to be a permitted operator. That is our goal, and that we want to be able to help you to achieve that goal. So why does environmental health regulate food safety? Does anybody want to go out and get sick? No. Does anybody want to be sitting in the bathroom, unable to work, unable to have fun because they have gotten sick? I don't see anyone volunteering to do that. So our job is to help protect against that from all food facility operations. Each year, about 3,000 people die from foodborne illness. We also have about 48 million people that get sick each year from foodborne illness. Has anyone ever had the stomach flu? Yeah, okay, so guess what? The stomach flu where people are throwing up is not actually a flu, it could possibly be foodborne illness. Flu influenza is respiratory, not throwing up. So when people say, oh, I have the stomach flu, no, it's probably norovirus. So environmental health, that we reduce the foodborne illness we try to by enforcing California Health and Safety Code, otherwise known as Health Code, and County Code here for San Bernardino County. Environmental health that we do operate throughout the whole county, and we regulate all food facilities. Health permits help the public know that the food facility is monitored on a regular basis. People think we're just out there to hurt the food facility. It's exactly opposite. We are there to help the food facility because, again, we want everybody to have a great place where people can come and enjoy their food and people are not getting sick. For more information about foodborne illness, that we do have a handout with top 5 CDC risk factors that will be available on our resource table at the end of the presentation. Some important definitions that we want to talk about that help go through the presentation. California Retail Food Code, also known as Cal Code, it is the code book that we use. It's this simple little book right here. And it all starts with this and it all ends with this. This is the book that does require a health permit, it does require operational guidelines, it does require temperature, it requires safe food handling. So this is the book that we use. It is available on our website if anybody is interested in seeing that or particular sections. Potentially hazardous food at its simplest form is food that requires refrigeration. Non-potentially hazardous food that doesn't require refrigeration. So potentially hazardous food definitions include like meats, dairy products. Pets, melons is a big one because they can harbor and grow bacteria. Examples of non-potentially hazardous food: water, chips, candy. And a food source that where the food is coming from, then that's come from a permitted location. Food coming from home is not an approved source unless it is coming from a cottage food operation. Prepackaged, properly labeled and processed food packaged to direct contact, to prevent any direct human contact. Like our snacks at the back, they partake, but those are all considered prepackaged food. A mobile food facility that isn't any vehicle or cart, or now the CMFO, used with a commissary or other permanent food facility where food is sold or distributed. This is going to be a big topic for us today, are the CMFOs. Commissary is where the carts go to be stored, to be serviced, store their food, to prepare food, if maybe if it's a prepared item. Plan check review is where they review our blueprint plan to ensure that that cart is built correctly, that CMFO is built correctly. And a food handler cart, I know there's a lot of confusion about this, that this is for the individual person, not the operation. And I know we've seen many times when people say, I'm permitted, I have it right here, and it is a food handler cart. That is not a health permit and is not acceptable as a health permit. That is just for the person to help teach food safety. This is a big definition for us. This is new to 2023 Health Code, the definition of limited food prep. In addition to adding the CMFO to the code, what the legislation did is that they changed the definition of limited food prep. The old definition prior to 2023 limited what could be done on a cart to the extent that there was a lot of things that people wanted to do on carts they weren't able to. So by changing this definition, it allowed for more options. One of the biggest ones is actually cutting fruit, including melons, on a cart. Prior to this, that they were not able to cut fruit on a cart because of being potentially hazardous. This definition changing now allows for CMFOs. Big change here. Limited food preparation still has some items that cannot be done so that they cannot be done on a cart. That does include slicing and chopping of potentially hazardous food other than produce. Thawing, cooking of, cooling of cooked potentially hazardous food, and then the rest, grinding, washing. Not typical things that you would see on a cart, that people get creative. It does open it wide open for many other options, which is a great change that we have seen. So we're going to talk more about the CMFO that came with 972. Sorry. These are our options, and we're going to talk about guidelines for CMFOs. When I talk about the health permit guidelines that help educate everybody, and then we have 3 categories of CMFOs: our low risk, our medium risk, and high risk. We're going to get into a little bit more detail. These are our health permit guidelines for those CMFOs. It's the 3rd page in your packet. If you'd like to refer to this chart, it's also available on our website. And I don't know if everyone knows it's the English and Spanish. So what we have tried to do is break it down, what can be done as a low risk operation, what can be done as a medium risk operation, and what can be done as part of a high risk operation. These are also our permit categories. So when applying for a health permit, this is what we're looking at. Are you a low risk, a medium risk, or high risk? Anybody that is greater than 25 square feet, a permit is required, no matter what. All food must come from a pure source, and all carts and CMFOs must meet Health Code, that they must meet Chapter 10 of Health Code, unless exempted by Chapter 11.7, which was the new chapter added for 2023. If a vendor is less than 25 square feet, no permit is required because we are only vending prepackaged, non-potentially hazardous food from a person and wrapper cart. Food must come from an approved source. They are not receiving regular health inspections, but they can receive an inspection if a complaint is received. So there is an option for someone that is just selling whole uncut produce Let's say lettuce, it's lettuce season, or even better, we're in Southern California, strawberry, my favorite, strawberry season. So the strawberry vendor that you see on the side of the street, that if they are less than 25 square feet, they're selling whole strawberries and nothing else, they are not required to have a health permit with us. Again, for any other questions, please refer to the handout. Okay. So if you're interested in a low risk permit, the options are low risk, that it can be prepackaged food or drink for whole, uncut, uncooked produce. So again, our strawberries. Cannot be, it can be potentially hazardous food. We'll get into some more of those details. It is the only category where that tent or table setup may be allowed because it is prepackaged. The only category that does allow for the setup that we see with the easy up tent and the table, because food cannot be prepared in that type of setup to be considered a street vendor. But this category with this permit level, it can be, use a tent, use a table, to be standing there. But again, must be prepackaged and properly labeled. Must come from a food store. And depending on what is being sold, clam chef may be required if it is potentially hazardous. And the commissary is required. Again, where is that food being stored and held overnight? Where is that CMFO being cleaned and serviced? So this is an example. This picture here of this vendor is selling packaged nuts and candies. Some other examples, the whole uncooked produce, watermelon, corn, one of my favorites. Prepackaged, non-potentially hazardous food like chips, candy, and soda. And prepackaged, potentially hazardous food, burritos, and ice cream. This is a change from our previous permits for sidewalk vendors. Our previous permits for sidewalk vendors did not allow for any potentially hazardous food. A CMFO can have that potentially hazardous food. But again, plant check may be required, mechanical refrigeration is required. We have a plan review fee and then an annual health permit fee. I want to point out that in your packet, it is on the second page, we have a flow chart. So if you'd like to follow along on the flow chart, that we have on the far left column highlighted here in yellow. So if you plan to sell open or prepared food drinks with limited food preparation that does not include cooking from raw meat, you may be eligible for a medium risk permit. Some examples of medium risk we will get to, but let's talk about the guidelines. Limited food preparation must be done on or within the CMFO compartment. So that includes like the plexiglass compartment or inside the equipment. A separate table may not be used for preparation or to hold any cooking units. Everything must be done on the cart as part of that CMFO. It does require plan check review and approved equipment, and the commissary is required in access to that restroom within 200 feet. I forgot to mention on the low risk that restroom access is also required. This one, all potentially hazardous food must be discarded at the end of the day. So it is a limitation that there is no cooling of food to stay for the next day. That if it's on the cart, it must be discarded at the end of the day. So some examples, cutting fruit. I know cutting fruit is a big one. Everyone enjoys a good cup of fruit. Steaming, boiling hot dogs, preparing coffee, shaved ice. These are all part of being a medium risk operation. We have a plan review fee, and then we also have the annual health permit fee. Plan check is one time. Long as operation stays the same, plan check is one time. Again, on the flow chart, it's now that middle area coming down to that medium risk. But here's a big one that has changed, and this is all brand new. We've never had this type of cart at all, and now it is the CMFO. If you would like to sell prepared foods and drinks that include limited preparation, that include cooking from raw meat, such as hamburgers or tacos or fish and chips, that is now allowed as a high risk cart. High risk CMFO. So again, limited food preparation must be done on or within the compartment of the CMFO. It does include that preparation of raw meat, poultry, or fish. Plans that is required for the approved equipment. Commissary is required, and access to the approved restroom is 200 feet. And all of the country has this food must be discarded at the end of the day. For example, tacos, hamburgers, chicken bowls, fish and chips. These are all part of that high risk, some of that really good and nice fatty food right here. Our plan review fee, and then again, our annual health permit fee. So on the flow chart, it is kind of the right side coming down with that second box on the right. Here's some examples of permitted vendors versus non-permitted. So this one here on the left side, this is a typical fruit stand. It does meet the requirements of a CMFO low risk. They are selling whole uncut and uncooked produce. No sample. On the right, we have a picture of a non-permitted stand. It does not meet the requirements of the CMFO. They are selling uncooked food and drinks. They are selling potentially hazardous food that does require refrigeration. And food is from an unknown source. And there's no hand washing available. Okay. Here's another example that this is meets the requirements of the CMFO medium risk. They're doing speech. I didn't do it. I lost the presentation. Thank you. The magic of technology. They are doing steamed or boiled hot dogs. No barbecue grills are allowed. Must be done on the cart. Must have sandwiches on the cart with running water. Everything must be on the cart. Yes, we understand it is limited space, but these are mobile food facilities where everything must be contained on that cart with the CMFO. Must be mobile at all times. This is an example of a non-permitted operation. Does not meet the requirements of the CMFO. They're selling unpackaged food and drinks. They're selling potentially hazardous foods that require refrigeration. There is no refrigeration. Food is from an unknown source, and there's no hand washing. So again, following the chart, this is on the right side. And that if you would like to do more of what we've shown, we're going to talk about that as a food truck. And this is the MSF food vehicle. If you plan to sell that open or prepared foods, including raw meat, and it's a motorized vehicle, or you want to do a motorized vehicle, that this is the best option for you. It can also be a trailer that is pulled by a truck, an enclosed trailer. Now, these examples, they are not considered a sidewalk vendor because they are motorized. And that is a big difference. So a sidewalk vendor that does have certain protections under SB 946 do not apply to these type of vehicles. Some examples are taco hamburgers, chicken bowls, and fish and chips. Anyone else getting hungry? Talk about all the food. Now, I want to point out that for any sidewalk vendor or non-sidewalk vendor, I do want to remind everybody that there are certain requirements. As far as from the county or the city about where it can be located. We'll get into that a little bit more detail later on in the presentation, but as we look at the reasons, just to remind everybody of that. Plan showing concert are required. Our three categories for the truck are low, medium risk, and high risk. Low risk, an example is that pre-packaged ice cream, whole uncut produce. Medium risk, same as part, shake guys and coffee, but you can do soft serve ice cream on the truck, medium risk. And high risk, basically a kitchen on wheels is what it is. Mobile food preparation options that, go even beyond what CMSO can do. Hamburger related meals, tacos, they are eligible on that high risk vehicle after Prop 10. For information about this, we'll be at our resource table if you are interested in opening a food truck business. These are the information for our plan check and for the annual health permit for a truck. We do understand that this one, that it costs more money to build a full truck because of the requirements, but it does open up more options for what can be done on that truck also. So other options beyond street vending, that is what you've seen so far, that something that maybe you're not able to do right now. We want to give you a few more options to be able to have a permitted food facility in San Bernardino County. We're going to talk about temporary food facility, a cottage food operation, and shared kitchens. The temporary food facilities, like the picture here on the right, that they are not considered street vendors. These types of operations are not allowed to operate on the street, on any random street or the sidewalk, and operate at any time. They must be part of a true community event. We get asked about these type of operations probably the most. And it is a challenge because they are limited by code of where and when that they can operate. They are limited to 25 days in a 90-day period also. So an approved community event is great. Carnivals, fairs, farmers market, a great, like let's have a community get together. That can all be considered a community event and approved with EHS. But these events are still limited to less than 25 days in a 90-day period. They cannot operate every single day. We have two types of temporary food facilities for EFS. We have prepackaged, that's a prepackaged ice cream, whole and uncut produce, and food preparation, like plated meal, barbecue, roasted corn. A cottage food operator is an individual who operates a cottage food operation from their private home. Only approved cottage food products may be prepared in the home. Examples are like baked goods, no cream with mustard, candy, griddled, and prepared meats. This does not include any type of plated meal or any type of food that is considered potentially hazardous food. For the complete list, to visit the state website. CDPH, California Department of Public Health, they are the ones that regulate that list that we all have to follow on food, cottage food. For more information on our resource table, that we do have a handout about cottage food operations. Shared kitchen, that this is relatively new. And what shared kitchen is that another operator can share a kitchen with somebody else. That the kitchen must be permitted and approved by environmental health. A health permit is required for both people. The person that originally has the restaurant and the operation that would like to use that kitchen, they both must have a health permit and both will receive inspection. There is a signed shared kitchen agreement between both parties. Both parties have to agree on it. You can't just walk into a restaurant and say, I want to use your kitchen, you have to let me. That's not how it works. It is that both parties are in agreement. And this is one question we do get asked a lot, that caterer uses shared kitchen yet. A caterer must still come and work from an approved food facility. Now, if you are El Pollo Loco, that yes, they offer catering options. You see all the commercials on TV, they offer catering. Now, if you are Lila's Tacos and do not own an El Pollo Loco, I still have to work out of an approved facility. So I may be able to go to that El Pollo Loco and say, may I use your kitchen so I can run my catering business? And that is a true possibility, and we do have operations like that do that. That they will use the restaurant, and maybe the restaurant is only open for breakfast and lunch. And so the caterer will come into that kitchen, use it as a shared kitchen, prepare food at night for catering business. For more information on this, we do have our shared kitchen flyer, and it does include all that information on there. So the enforcement agency for San Bernardino County is Environmental Health Services and San Bernardino County Code. Each city also has their enforcement agency. It may be code enforcement, it may not be. So if you're operating in a city area and an incorporated area, please work with the city where you plan on operating. And I'm going to pass this off to the next presenter.
Good afternoon, my name is Ignacio Nunez. I'm the code enforcement chief for San Bernardino County. I want to introduce a couple of other folks on my team in case you have any code enforcement questions. I have our Deputy Chief of Code Enforcement, Sharon Guidry. And then I have Code Enforcement Supervisor Guillermo Morales. They both will be available along with myself to answer any code enforcement questions that you may have after the presentation. I also want to explain that the comments that I'm going to make and the information that I'm going to provide only applies to unincorporated areas of the county. For example, Bloomington, Muscoy, those are unincorporated areas of the county. Cities like Ontario, Fontana, Rancho Cucamonga, they have their own code enforcement agencies and their own set of rules. So any information that I'm sharing today just applies to the unincorporated areas of the county. So what is code enforcement's role here? We protect public health and safety. We also address violations of the San Bernardino County Code with other agencies, including Environmental Health Services and the Sheriff's Department, related to street vending. Environmental Health Services focuses on health violations, and we address code violations that are generally applicable to vending and other violations of the county code. We act as an enforcement and educational resource to the public, operators, and other agencies. And we provide information and act as a liaison to non-permitted operators on how to become a permitted operator. And I know over the years we have helped several non-permitted operators we pointed them in the right direction to the proper agencies to get the proper permits to vend. The next slide will provide examples of unpermitted locations in San Bernardino County for vending and the related code violations. So first is private property. If you're operating a business from a private residence or private property without the proper land use approval, it's considered a land use violation. We can take enforcement action on that. And it's not related specifically to vending, it's any type of business. If you're parking trucks on private property without the proper land use approvals, we can take enforcement action. If you're operating any other type of business, including vending, we can take enforcement action. Vacant lots, these are also considered private property. They have an owner. We find you can't vend from vacant lots like this. Usually vendors won't have permission from the property owner to vend there. And even if they did, what I commented previously on private property applies. They don't have the proper land use approvals to conduct that type of business from a vacant lot. So it could be vending, it could be trucks being parked on that vacant lot. If they don't have a proper land use approvals, we can't take enforcement. Another location is a clear side triangle. So we chose this photo because it kind of covers private property the vacant lot and the clear side triangle. The clear side triangle is that area.
You have contact, what they can do to help you to build a park or to provide those plans for an approved park. There are other operators out there. I cannot begin to list them all, but I know that one has been a big one in the news lately, so I do want to mention that one. If I currently have a cottage food permit, how do I get an additional permit for hot food preparation to be a street vendor? So cottage food operations do not allow for any type of potentially hazardous food to be prepared at home. So they only allow baked goods and foods on that list. So a cottage food operation, it's very viable to become a CMFO because of the type of food. It's already a non-potentially hazardous food. So a low-risk operation may be a possibility. But the open foods, any type of prepared food like plated meals is not allowed under cottage food. They would not be able to be a CMFO using a cottage food permit for open foods. Food park design that is 972 approved. You specify which mobile carts are approved to sell tamales, corn on the cob, hot dogs, and ice cream. Again, then I'll mention that Revolution is one of those companies that has, I know that you do have approved plans to build that type of cart. 972, it does talk about that if a plan is approved in another county, that a different county can accept that approved plan instead of going through the whole plan check process, that we can take that plan in as is. We will do a review of the operation to confirm that how that plan is approved, the operation still meets the guidelines, and that is the planned operation. So we can help with that. So other plans being approved in other counties are viable in our county. Please let us know if you're interested in that, and we will work with you. Is a sidewalk or street vendor the same as the vendor that sells from home, or is it only the ones that sell on street corner? So street vending, food cannot be prepared at home, except for cottage food operations. So any food sold at home is not permissible. So, and in our county that we do not have the home kitchens like in other counties. So that is not a permissible option with us either at this time. Could we have a moratorium until we are fully capable of following the new SB 972 law that protects us? Environmental health and code enforcement are not able to do that. This is state code that we must follow. That is part of our job. Unfortunately, we cannot change that. If you are interested in having state code changed, please work with your elected representatives on that. But we cannot issue a moratorium. That right now, again, our job is to protect public health and safety. How can I sell tacos de canasta with all the legal requirements? What permits do I need? It would probably be a high risk CMFO or a food truck may be the best option. If this is your question, please talk to us. We can best help you. Knowing a little bit more information, it is hard to make those blanket statements without having a lot of information. But those are the two type of permits that you would probably be looking at. Again, if you're interested in selling at community events, CFFs are an option. What permits do I need to sell taquitos? Type of drink. Again, that it would be a CMFO, probably a medium risk. Another option is the truck, a vehicle, again, or a TFF operation, maybe an option for you. You would need a little bit more information to best help you. No, that was it. Okay, so right now that's all the questions that we have received. We weren't going to do this, but I will for any questions that people have not written through the code.
How would someone go about meeting the 200 feet stop on the farm? Would that be a porta potty?
Okay, so the question is that how does somebody go and want to meet the 200 feet requirement for a restroom? It cannot be a porta potty, but it can be a restroom at another facility or another business. Now, what we do is that we do require a restroom agreement with that business or something that, the vendor can only operate if that business is open. So let's just say it's McDonald's. Okay, then you can use McDonald's restroom, but McDonald's does close. If they close at 8 o'clock, that restroom is not available after 8 o'clock. So maybe that McDonald's is not the best option, but a porta potty is not an approved restroom.
What about a private residence?
It cannot be a private residence. Does have to be some type of business. And does not have to be food business either. It can be an office space, but again, a lot of offices close early, so it does not lend to evening operations.
Yeah, I'm wondering in incorporated cities, is it only the county or only the city that's enforcing the regulations? And like can better be double-sided, both the county and the city.
So we each write, so the question is that for violations in a city area, is it the city or is it the county, correct? So environmental health, that we are the agent for all cities for food related to enforce health codes. So for the county, we do represent the county in that way. We do work with our city partners. So each city does have their own enforcement also for land use, similar to what county code enforcement and Ignacio talked about today, that they do have their own requirements also. But for any city or any area in San Bernardino County, environmental health does play a role. Yes, ma'am.
Important mentioning about part of this that we're going around like the food, right? Nothing possible have so many everyone is smart, how to get smart, stuff about it. And the public is running up on to acquire that part of the orders required for this.
So the question is that for a card such as the card revolution that how soon that somebody can start a business using that type of card. So, and is that available to be used in San Bernardino County? So I can tell you that we have approved a set of plans for a card built by Revolution. It is up to each vendor to contact that company to determine if a card is available, if they're building the card, if they're just getting the plan. So we cannot help with that of actually acquiring the card. But once that card has been, that kind of like, okay, I'm ready to buy this card, I'm looking at buying this card, we are available to speak to ensure it is the card that has been approved in our county or it has been approved at another county. And then that's why once that process starts of having that card and it is a previously approved card, it can go very quickly because then we are going to verify the operation. If the physical card has already been approved, we're going to be looking at that operation.
Now, you're going to invent that more who is concerned, correct? Like whether you're going to be selling appropriately or what enough that is
So part of what we're looking for is to look at the operation that if that cart is built as a cart only selling prepackaged food, then that cart is limited to prepackaged food. So we would be discussing menu and what that operation entails. That if that cart is approved to only sell, say, licorice in cans, then that is what that cart is limited to. If somebody then tried to do, say, ice cream cone, there would be different requirements. So that cart may have been built for something that does not require mechanical refrigeration, but now someone wants to use it to sell even a prepackaged item that does require mechanical refrigeration, that cart cannot be approved. So the cart does have to be approved for each operation, and that operation must match how that cart was approved and built. To start with Revolution about what type of cart that they are looking at, because we cannot assist with the cart building per se, that we do have the requirements, but they are the ones that do build the cart. So I would recommend that for anybody that's looking at buying a cart, confirm what type of operation you're looking for, to confirm that that cart is built for that operation. Well, I had a question first, or then follow up to this.
Oh,
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, it's the sidewalk, this car will only be allowed to operate the sidewalk and not the only be achievable.
So that if that cart is built at the CMFO is non-motorized, that it would be able to operate as a sidewalk vendor, but must meet all regulations set by either the county or the city for time, place, and manner, which could include ADA requirements. But it would be considered as a non-motorized conveyance. It would be eligible as a CMFO. Yes. Okay.
So the state bill allows each independent city to do their own code enforcement. Does that mean that each city is allowed to ban mobile vending as well?
Each city is able to put in time, place, manner restrictions that SB 946 allows, it prohibits them from just banning street vendors, but they are able to put in time, place, manner restrictions. So it is up to each city on how they do that. If I can't give any more details on that, but they cannot full on ban it. Now, anybody selling food or drinks, but we're concentrating on that anybody that does not have a health permit cannot operate, because no matter what, SB 946 and SB 972 both require a health permit. And that is one of the problems that we're seeing, that people think that because the bill allows for this, that anybody can set up a business and start operating, but that's not the case. So I know that some cities that they do look at, no, I'm sorry, you're not able to operate as a sidewalk vendor here because you do not have a health permit. And that is separate than banning them under 946.
Vendors can be cognizant of each individual city's requirements.
Correct. That vendors must be cognizant of each individual city's requirements, because they do change city to city. Yeah. And in the county area. That's super.
When a vendor is cited for violations, are any goods like these, and if so, where are they held and how do they get that?
So each county area and each city do have different standing on the confiscation of food. That in the county area currently, that county code enforcement and environmental health services are confiscating the food in the county area. Any food that is deemed unsafe is immediately discarded per state code, that we are allowed to do that because food is deemed unsafe. We are not confiscating food unless it is deemed unsafe. Unsafe foods include food that is not from an approved source, food out of temperature, food where there's no hand washing. All that food is deemed unsafe. It is immediately destroyed.
Yes, so you said that the type of operation must match the type of card that you're using, is that right?
Correct.
So
Type of operation must match.
So if you have a card that is meant for a high risk operation, but you're doing a low risk operation, that's not allowed.
If it's a high risk part that it has been made and it is permitted for, say, hamburger, but you decide that day I'm selling ice cream cones, as long as that it is supported by the refrigeration unit, that is approved. So you can't go high and low. Not many people do that, but it is a possibility, as long as we can, that the equipment on there still meets the requirements, even at that lower risk operation. And a good example could be refrigeration or freezer, that say that they do want to do something that requires it's a cart that prepares hamburgers, and they want to sell frozen fish that day. If there is not a freezer as part of that approved cart, they would not be able to do that, because you would still be required to have a freezer to hold that frozen fish. But if you're selling fresh fish, and you have that mechanical refrigeration, because it's usually a hamburger cart, that could be a possibility.
This is a product that is going to be made, it's hopefully needs to be made, providers, so like anything. And then it goes up to the however, this product does not require refrigeration after the made. It also doesn't have an implementation process or anything like that. It's kind of as if you will, or it's going to be cooked, prior to being sold, so. You wondering what kind of work you would just get into it, but you put it in your refrigeration, but it doesn't be pushed prior, what kind of category is it in, but you can be coming into and speak about this particular part, so you can define where does it fit, because in the part, you're like, I'm not sure what it is. Okay, so that is in the bottom.
What's the name of the product again? Sequino, okay, that's what was the question. So with a particular product, Sequino, that where does he fit into what type of part, and can it be prepared at home?
Right, so like, this question is, it's not prepared at the time, it's just something that are prepared on the go. And it doesn't need to be refrigerated while it's prepared, because it be unknown or medium risk, or how to determine that in order to like get the part. Some of the things that they sell are not necessarily identified with any of these categories. So can you go to somebody and say, this is the product, case, this is how the preparation happens, and so I sell it. If you go to somebody and think about specific things that they can call it, this is the category, for the day. So that then you can go and see, okay, well, is there a part for, you know, how do I specialize in operation? Is there like a
Yes, like he can come to our office to speak to us, that we have a couple of inspectors, and you can even speak to them today. That we have Jonathan and Vanessa right over here, that they can speak to them. But for any product, no food product to be prepared at home for sale to the public unless it's on that approved cottage food list. So if that product is not on that approved cottage food list, even if it is not considered potentially hazardous, it still must be approved with the state as a cottage food product and available through a cottage food operation.
So if it's not for all the cottage food, yes. Are there any exceptions where it is something that is not a bread, cooked, like a bread, big nice or not really kind of the cottage food, but it still has a risk level come from one of the sides. Could it be like a exception of food, also think more about why and permit that sort of
So the question is that for food that's not currently on the cottage food list, but maybe similar to something, or maybe treated the same way as something else, is that approved? Unfortunately, that the state is very restrictive on the cottage food list. That there is an option to contact the state that asks about having that particular food item added to the cottage food list. We are not able to do that. So if it's not currently on that cottage food list, that there are no options to prepare it at home to be sold on any type of cart or through any type of food facility with us. Your best option would be to use a shared kitchen, that you can go to another kitchen to prepare it there. And then to prepare it to be sold on a CMFO or as part of a TFF, but it would have to be prepared as part of a shared kitchen with the shared kitchen agreement and a health permit for both parties. And we do have information about that also on our table under shared kitchen. Yeah. Thank you.
Have there been conversations with the congregation, especially like the Catholic churches and all of that, or a lot of churches in the region, like, I want to say the Bible advocacy point that we need to address, but have you seen that commercial kitchens are already approved within the churches? What I'm saying about can the churches be that shared kitchen facility that folks do for their to be an MFS or whatever?
So the question is that for can church kitchens be used as approved kitchens to be used as shared kitchens? to help support CMFOs and street vendors. We don't care where the kitchen is, as long as it is an approved permitted kitchen. Okay, and it has to be an approved permitted kitchen in our county. Obviously, it could not be another kitchen in another county. And if we're seeing that they are approved and that there's some property. But let's use an example. This is a beautiful facility that we're using today. There is a kitchen back here in this facility. If it was a permanent kitchen with then a person can't come in here and request, can I use the kitchen as part of the shared kitchen? The facility has to have a permit, and the person that requests the share would also have to have a permit. So I would not limit it to just churches, but it does have to be an approved permitted kitchen, but not to be eligible on the shared kitchen.
A follow-up to that, if I have this kitchen or I have a restaurant kitchen, I work in that kitchen, 9 to 5. And that CMFO or the vendor wants to work out until the night, 2 a.m., 24/7. Kitchen, is used like, there's a limited hours that they can borrow the kitchen. More often, but the restaurant
So the question is that does EHS limit the hours available for a shared kitchen for a street vendor to use that? We do not. That is between the person that is requesting to use that kitchen and the permanent kitchen. That is not our concern. That what we're looking at is food safety, protecting public health. If they want to allow somebody in at 2 o'clock in the morning to use their kitchen, that is between the two of you. That is all part of the shared kitchen agreement. That has nothing to do with environmental. Yes, ma'am.
So when a vendor goes to get a citation, what steps are taken to give them like information on the next step of how to pay or request ability to pay the fee?
I will give this question to county code enforcement, because environmental health does not assess me. I will give this question to.
Still gonna need this for the next 6.
Once they have a hearing, if the appeal officer finds in their favor, then you can dismiss the implementation, you can find the county.
Fortunately,
But all the information is, that's what he's.
Are there any other questions? Yes.
You have the understanding or talk to public counsel about this, in terms of the person involved by SB 972. Can you repeat why under SB 946 somebody would get a misdemeanor without a misdemeanor was completely out of the question? So we're gonna circle back on that one, but if you all can respond to that question again, why would a vendor get a misdemeanor 20, now and beyond, that was totally not allowed now under SB 972?
Well, they won't get a misdemeanor citation for 10 years. From your property and not necessarily.
I'll follow up with
Yeah.
So if you say that it's not, then there's an example, one of the situations where allow someone to get a crime violation in the year or nothing to do with it. It's not.
There's people operate private property. So we allow. It is regulated in the legal language. So then start with the legal language.
It's not selling something, like, we're under the other, legal values are.
Well, if someone is working something, you cannot operate. Truck working, it's really, it's something. It's usually about the problem, correctly.
And, part of the, will, third party.